The thief said it's very simple. In the next 30 days, one of three things may happen. Number one, I might die. Number two, the sultan might die. Number three, the horse might talk. There's more to this story, of course. I'll leave you in suspense on that as well. The real story is the story of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Here is a man who spent his first 30 years of life growing, learning, studying, traveling. He had a calling. He had no doubt why he was here, what he was here to do. And he spent 3 years teaching. He performed miracles. He walked on water. He used the loaves and the fishes to feed the hordes. He brought a man back from death. He made a blind man see. He had thousands of people calling him the Son of God. And in the Garden of Gethsemane, he saw the present and the patterns that were driving behaviors. He knew one of his apostles would betray him, another would deny him, that tomorrow he would be taken to the crucifix and he would die. And in this moment, he still had a chance. He could retreat. He could escape. He could leave. And he was deeply in doubt. Now, Jesus didn't have Dr. Maltz's psychocybernetics to call on. Jesus didn't have that inner voice like that executive had. Jesus didn't have Martin Luther's dissent. Jesus had his own teachings. And in the Sermon on the Mount, where so much of his wisdom is imparted, there are 9 Beatitudes. In the first Beatitude, blessed are the poor of spirit, for theirs will be the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the poor of spirit. Are these people in poverty? Are these people of spiritual poverty? Are these the skeptics and the non-believers? How could the poor of spirit possibly have the kingdom of heaven be theirs? Here we get the blessings of how Jesus teaches through parable. The Bible always meets us where we are and takes us where we need to be. Practicing what he preached, Jesus called on that beatitude himself while he was in the Garden of Gethsemane. He knew that what he had to do was be poor of spirit. In Aramaic, poor didn't mean poverty. Poor meant to empty, to release, to let go of. To let go of attachments to material things. To let go of attachments to those relationships that are always so important that we seem to be so addicted to. To let go completely. To drain what? Not spirit. Spirit meant soul. To empty the soul so that Jesus could come into conscious contact with his God through meditation and through prayer, just as that young boy did when he saw the gymnasium filled with his friends and gave the speech of his life. Just as that woman who was about to board an airplane that could lead to her death felt that contact and refused to board. Just as Martin Luther knew the teachings of the church were dishonest and he was called on to take a stand, Jesus would now, through emptying his soul, come into contact with God. And at his moment of greatest doubt, have his moment of greatest faith. Jesus knew that although the hordes could kill him, he would not die. That the promise he taught, and the promise of Christianity, and the promise of the soul was that of eternal life. So sometimes doubt calls on us to exercise our faith and our trust in God. But what about the sultan and the horse thief? 30 days go by. The sultan and the thief and the horse are brought back together. The crowds gather. Well, says the sultan, 30 days have gone by. How about this matter of my horse and about it talking? The thief says, I'm not sure, sire. The sultan says, as he looks at his horse, well, what say you, my friend? And at that moment, the horse lets out this big, bellowing, loud, happy whinny. Just the kind of sound that you would expect to come out of a John Wayne Western. This horse says what he has to say. The sultan looks up at the thief, and the thief drops to his knees. The crowd drops to a hush. The thief says, "Forgive me," as he weeps. "Forgive me, sire." The sultan looks back at the thief, looks back at the horse, and he said, 30 days ago I knew my horse could talk. What I didn't know is whether you could ask for forgiveness. I forgive you, says the sultan. I forgive you. Sometimes doubt calls on us to be humble. So in this moment of Lent, during this season when we think about those things important to us, when we recognize how our faith enables us to strengthen our spirit, let us not be afraid of doubt, but let us embrace it. Let us embrace doubt as the virtue that calls on us to exercise our faith. And as we exercise our faith, we find stronger connection with our God, stronger faith in ourselves, stronger trust in the experience of life. So it's pretty easy. Next time you're in doubt, what you need to do is practice, exercise your imagination, empty your soul, and remember, the horse is not talking.